Ryback. Whenever any fan hears that name, they'll either remember a wrestler who at one point was so over that people wanted to see him end CM Punk's WWE title reign, whilst others will think of a Twitter poll. Ryback went from being a WWE main eventer and one of the most over wrestlers in the company to just being a complete joke in the industry. Ryback's downfall is something that truly needs to be studied. Oh wait, that's what I'm here for. WWE audiences were first introduced to Ryan Reeves when he was a part of the $1 Million Tough Enough in 2004, and though he did not win the season of Tough Enough and did not win the show, he would still end up getting signed to the WWE, who clearly saw something in him and signed him to a developmental contract, and he would report to Deep South Wrestling. Ryan would train with Deep South Wrestling for a couple of years before OVW became the new WWE Developmental, and his ring name was changed to Ryback. However, FCW would become the new developmental a couple years later, and Ryback would be repackaged as Skip Sheffield, and after a bit of time in FCW, would be brought onto WWE TV to be a part of the first season of NXT in February 2010. Back when it was that really weird reality competition show. Skip Sheffield's pro was William Regal as he set out to win a WWE contract. However, Skip sort of failed to make any sort of impact on NXT. He was eliminated on week 12 as the third elimination of the show, finishing with just a 2-5 win-loss record and finishing 6th out of 8th. But despite not winning the show, Skip would still get his main roster opportunity, as on the June 7th, 2010 episode of Raw, Skip Sheffield along with all the other NXT contestants would attack John Cena, CM Punk, the announcers, and wreck ringside as the Nexus had just arrived in the WWE in one of the most infamous segments and moments in WWE history, and a huge moment for the time. The Nexus would continue feuding with John Cena, and this was a big spot for Skip Sheffield to be in. I mean, the Nexus were being presented as the top heel stable and were all involved in the main event angles of every single show they were on. It was a really good spot to be on for his first TV spot, but we all know what happened to the Nexus. We all know. They went to SummerSlam that year to take on a team of the WWE roster in a 7v7 match. People like John Cena, Edge, Chris Jericho, The Great Khali, Bret Hart. You know, all the stars. And of course, they lost this match, as well as all of their credibility, which was just completely squandered after being built up for 3 months for no reason. That same month, Skip Sheffield would also get injured and would have to go through 3 surgeries in his ankle, leaving him out of action for a year and a half, and he was effectively kicked out of the Nexus. In April 2012, Skip would make his return, but he would make his return as Ryback, and he would go on a run of squashing folks. When I say a run of squashing folks, I mean it was damn near 6 months of Ryback nearly every single show, just destroying and squashing 1, 2, or even sometimes 3 wrestlers in a matter of minutes and saying, "Feed me more." And even if there was a subsection of fans chanting Goldberg at him, Ryback was getting over, and this repackaging was a really good thing for him. And come October 2012, CM Punk needed a new challenger, and the only active and built up enough wrestler to challenge him at the time was Ryback, who, when he was revealed as Punk's next challenger for Hell in a Cell, would become the most over he's ever been in the company. There were fans who wanted to see him beat CM Punk. In fact, I'd go as far to say that a good majority of people wanted to see him beat CM Punk. However, who didn't want to see him beat CM Punk was of course the WWE themselves, who were not intent on having Ryback win the title from Punk, because of course they wanted The Rock to do that. WWE had booked themselves into the corner. Ryback was so over, but they didn't want Punk to lose. So what did they do? Well, they had referee Brad Maddox attack Ryback to help CM Punk get the win at Hell in a Cell, in a horrible finish and a dreadful swerve. Ryback's momentum hadn't gone just yet though, and he would challenge for the title again, this time in a 3-way match also involving John Cena at Survivor Series. This match would end with Punk winning via interference again, but this time though from The Shield, who were making their debut, and this would kick off a feud between Ryback and The Shield, with Ryback teaming up with Team Hell No to face The Shield in a TLC match at TLC, and Ryback's team did lose, but this match was awesome. He would enter the Royal Rumble match for the first time in 2012, entering last at number 30, and got 5 eliminations eliminations before being eliminated by John Cena in the final 2. And this is where Ryback would really start to stall in the WWE, as every big match that Ryback was in, he was usually on the losing end of. At WrestleMania 29, in his first WrestleMania, he would have a match with Mark Henry, which he lost. And now, all the momentum that had been built up had officially just been destroyed. Ryback would turn heel the next night for the first time as Ryback, and despite losing to Mark Henry, would get to challenge John Cena for the title at the next 2 pay-per-views at Extreme Rules and Payback, but he was unsuccessful in both. And after this, he would kind of just coast around for the rest of 2013, with the WWE seemingly just not knowing what to do with Ryback, and he did all sorts of things. He was a Paul Heyman guy at one point along with Curtis Axel. Remember Rybaxel, the greatest tag team ever. He also got to work with CM Punk again at Hell in a Cell, losing of course, in an angle that Punk revealed he hated doing, as he hated working with Ryback, and during this feud would make Ryback call himself an idiot backstage after he botched a table spot and hurt Punk. Ouch. And 2014 was also much of the same, with Ryback being relegated to being a jobber tag wrestler with Curtis Axel, a major fall off from 2012. In August of 2014, he would undergo hernia surgery, leaving him out of action for a couple of months, but when he returned, he would get a good spot when he returned, and he would return as a babyface with his Feed Me More gimmick once again, and he was added as part of Team WWE to face Team Authority at Survivor Series, a really big spot to be in. And of course, at the show, Team WWE would win the match with help from Sting, and Ryback would resume life as a singles wrestler, no more Rybaxel. And Ryback kind of found himself in a spot where he would wrestle on pay-per-views and get regular TV time and good spots to be in and good spots on cards, but he was usually on the losing end when it came down to it in the big matches. But at Elimination Chamber 2015, that would finally come to an end when Ryback won his first title, winning the Intercontinental Championship Chamber match in what was an awful match, by the way, to win his first title. It was a great moment for him. He would defend the title successfully against Big Show and The Miz at that year's SummerSlam, but would lose it to Kevin Owens at Night of Champions, ending his reign at 112 days in a pretty average title reign. And following this, Ryback would begin treading water again and needed something new. And something new is what he would get when in February 2016, he would abandon the singlet and would sport trunks and turn heel again. He had gone full Goldberg mode officially. He'd challenged Kalisto for the US title at Mania 32 in a losing effort, and then again at Payback, also in a losing effort in what would be his final appearance with the WWE, as on May 2nd, he was sent home from TV tapings due to a contract dispute. And the next day, he'd post to his blog that this was due to lack of equal pay and creative frustrations from his end. And 3 months later, Ryback's release was finally finalized, and he was gone from the WWE just like that. So overall, Ryback's run in the WWE wasn't that bad. He definitely underachieved for how over he was at one point, however overall it wasn't a bad run. But what caused Ryback to really fall off and become a joke is his activity post-WWE, particularly on Twitter, where on his page you'll find posts like, "Vince McMahon, like most promoters, has an insatiable urge to have control. He had no control watching his mum get beat up as a child, which is a horrendous thing for a kid to witness as their whore mum tries to make ends meet. Vince has failed to evolve. You, old man." A just completely unhinged tweet, and one that is even more unhinged when you realize that this tweet came not too long after Vince's mother had passed away. And as well as this, on Ryback's Twitter you have tweets from him wishing death on Vince, making derogatory comments towards current WWE talent, and of course the infamous tweet asking fans where they want to see him return, where the option to retire was clearly the winner, a tweet that he kept reposting, and retire kept on winning. This poll is now synonymous with Ryback's career and all he is really known for in wrestling today, a poll telling him to retire. That is tough. Ryback has not wrestled since 2018, and there's no chance he'll ever return to the WWE due to his comments about the McMahons and his lack of goodwill with the fans that he has of course lost. Ryback's drop off in the last decade has quite been something. from being one of wrestling's top guys to being a joke who nobody wants to sign. But then again, has anybody introduced Ryback to Billy Corgan yet? Now that's a career opportunity for him. I can see it now. Ryback versus Tyrus for the NWA World Championship with a whole viewership of 12 people. I'm sure they'll love it. But that's been it from me, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more wrestling content. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and keep on rolling.